So for this week's interview, I have Aernout. I didn't say his name right, but I think he'll forgive me. He's the lead designer for Bugaboo strollers. He's in Amsterdam right now, and I'm really excited about talking to him a little bit about Bugaboo products, what makes them different. Maybe you're thinking about a Bugaboo stroller or Bugaboo product, or maybe the turtle for your car seat. And so I'm really excited about talking to him today, and I hope you like it too. Drop a comment below, subscribe today so you can see more interviews like these, and I hope you're happy. And of course, you can always email us your questions to questions@mbeans.com. Hi, Aernout. How are you?
Hey, hi Ali. Thanks. I'm doing fine. Yeah, it's been a long day already, so almost
It,
end of the day here.
yeah, it's every day just seems like a long day. How are you doing? How are things in Amsterdam during COVID? Are things okay? Like, how is that just in general? Everyone's healthy?
Yeah, I think our management team was really responding to the kind of COVID outbreak very thoroughly. So everybody's working home right now. I'm at the office actually, so only some people from innovation are allowed to visit the office, of course, because we still have to make our prototypes and do validations and do some reviews. And for me personally, yeah, I've got another job, so I'm also a teacher of my kids now, and yeah,
Yeah.
combining these things is quite yeah, difficult sometimes, you know. So when they have a break, when they have a pause, then I start working on Bugaboo stuff, and then they come back in. So it's long days, long days.
It is definitely long days. I have 3 kids as well, and just, waffling back and forth between work and, I'm here at my home and
Yeah,
work and
yeah,
just
yeah,
life. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. So
yeah.
no,
But
so I
I'm
appreciate.
in a way, I'm grateful because here in the Netherlands, it's still pretty free. You can go out, and I've spoken to some colleagues, for instance, in Spain, they have to stay indoors always, and yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's I can't imagine how that is. So all around the world, I mean, people hang in there. It's tough, but we'll get out there stronger, I hope.
So let me start asking you, like, how did you end up at Bugaboo? Like, what were you doing before? You've been there a long time.
Yeah, yeah. This year is my 17th year already. So indeed, quite a long time. I studied in Delft at Technical University, Industrial Design Engineering. Then I ended up with a design agency. I did many great stuff there, so very different. I designed toothpicks, I designed bus stations, medical equipment, keyboards, you know. But it was, in a way, you hand over the project to the client, and then you don't see the end result. You're not involved in that. And then I saw this advert of Bugaboo, and I already met them during my studies. I already worked on the very first user guide of the Bugaboo Classic together with Max. So I knew these guys, and I thought, hey, it's a nice company, and they were really looking for designers. And I know that it was a design-focused company. So as a designer at Bugaboo, you're involved in the whole process, from first idea to product launch to even you get all the feedback, and it's really rewarding for me as a designer to work in that whole process. So in 2003, I had this job interview, and it was really great meeting Max, a very inspiring person, a very great designer from which I've learned a lot the last few years. And also, yeah, you know, the working at a design agency for different clients can be quite hectic, quite stressful. And at Bugaboo, there was really time to do things right. There was time for your creativity. I only had to work 4 days because Max said, "Well, we don't work on Fridays. Fridays you have to just think about stuff and, you know, be inspired." So I already worked part-time for like 17 years as well. So many good reasons to join this great company, and I still like it. It keeps evolving, so very nice.
That's really cool. 4-day work week sounds terrific. And it's time to think. I mean, I just knew that you guys do things differently. And I know on the channel, we're constantly looking at strollers, reviewing strollers. And, I try to make the point frequently that Bugaboo just works a little bit differently from like most like stroller and like baby product companies, and it's sort of kind of like hard to explain. People go to a store, they see different types of strollers, they think they're all kind of the same, they're all designed the
Yeah,
same, they're all like
yeah,
made the same. But can you talk a little bit about why Bugaboo does things differently and how they do things differently from what you understand other companies might do?
yeah. Yeah, well, I think one of the things you see last couple of years is that design and also quality and functionalities have become more and more important, and people realize, but also companies, they realize that people are searching for this quality. So you see that most of our competitors, so to say, they also pay much more attention to this. So like 20 years ago when we started, we were really revolutionizing the whole baby industry with our products, really standing out with our design, clean looks, amazing functionality, multifunctionality. We've always tried to make products with many functionalities, which in itself can become complex, but really trying to reduce this complexity to its simplest form. So I think what is unique for Bugaboo products still is this whole combination between beauty and performance. So from a craftsmanship as a designer, I really like to think of all the details. Also, if you take a Bugaboo product apart, we've even taken care of the inside parts that they look beautiful. So it's just a matter of proud, you know. We feel really proud, the whole team, of delivering this quality and beauty, and in combination with performance. So we try to think of stuff that people need, the obvious stuff, of course, but also more the latent needs, so the stuff that people might not think of before. So if you go out there and want to buy a stroller, it's very difficult to imagine what life will be with your child, right? You probably also have that in your shop when people, they don't realize what it is to be a parent. And our job is, of course, also to find already solutions for things that that people come across in a year or two. For instance, you know, the Donkey is a great example for people who plan ahead in their family. We have reversible seat, we have easy changing fabrics and stuff like that. We have this whole ecosystem of our stand that you can use our products, the seat and the carry call on a stand. So in that sense, we really try to be innovative and new. And in a way that's maybe difficult to explain in one sentence. It is. So, but if you look for the best quality product, if you look for something that has thought through design, is very beautiful. Of course, beauty is subjective, but I think we pay attention to all the details and really try to come up with the best possible product for our customers. And you know what you see, our products last a very long time. So they easily last a decade. So you can have 2, 3, 4 children, or you can pass it on to your friends and family. You can upgrade them, you can repair them easily, you can change your tires, and also, that's also something that we feel very proud of. So this quality, we call it the products to last. That's our design philosophy. And even, you know, the functionalities that we put in there and the aesthetics, they are in a sense, well, they're not timeless, but they become iconic because we already have this visual of the stroller and the functionality, and we can upgrade them. Of course, we learn a lot from our users and the feedback, but in the core, the concept stays the same. So our Bugaboo Classic that evolved in the Frog and in the Chameleon and now in the Fox. It is a much better product, the Fox, and especially the Fox2 now. But in essence, it's almost the same as the classic product. So that's an iconic stroller. So it's really cool to have these iconic things and work on that.
It's really interesting to hear you think about that, because I just, you know, obviously we see so many products, and I think that a lot of the strollers that we see, they're kind of like one-offs. You buy it, it comes with a rain cover, and it is what it is. But it's hearing you talk, it sounds like you see Bugaboo products as more of like of a system, like a lifestyle system. That the accessories have like real functionalities to extend the functionality, the life, the usage of the products. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, and also every time we do an upgrade, we think about, can this be also backwards compatible? So people already bought this stroller, can they kind of upgrade their old stroller with, I don't know, new canopies? But also if you buy a secondhand stroller, you want to have new fabrics, then it should be easy to buy those fabrics. And also with the accessories, we now define these, we call it integrated attachment points, defined points, defined interfaces, you know, like a USB system on your computer, really standardizing that. So you can also use all these accessories all over your stroller portfolio. So for us, that's easy because we don't have to work with all kinds of adapters. But also, I noticed that some people just buy 2 or even 3 Bugaboo strollers, which is great, of course, but that they can also use these accessories. And some of the things like our seat can be used as a self-standing seat on the floor, but you can also put it higher up with a stand. And the runner, of course, you could also use your Bugaboo seat on the runner chassis, so you don't have to buy a whole stroller. So we are about modular thinking and about systematic thinking. Yeah, I think it will enhance the value of the Bugaboo products.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, so you're saying before that like it's you guys like a 4-day work week. Some do, maybe the designers do. Not everyone does.
Not everyone, no.
Not everyone does. But you guys seem to have a little bit of like a different culture, just in the way the ethos of the company. Can you talk a little bit more about the culture of the company? Something that's kept you there for 17 years. What is it about the culture that makes you also a little bit different?
Well, when I started, we were with roughly 30 people, so it's really like this family feeling, you know. Everybody working with each other, knowing what people are doing. And then we grew very rapidly. I mean, the sales went up just amazing. And we had very much also difficulties to keeping up with that. The company went worldwide. We sell all over the world now. I think for me, we're a very large company. But still, you see that the people working at Bugaboo, they almost feel like family as well. Also, the people abroad, I have the opportunity sometimes to visit our colleagues abroad, also to get to know these different cultures. And as a designer, of course, it's important to realize that people use your products differently. And then you come in the office in LA or, you know, in Sydney, and it immediately feels like you know these people already for a long time. So, and they're very passionate about Bugaboo and about the whole brand and about the heritage. And I think in a way we're totally like a almost flat organization. You know, you could just go into the office of the CEO and say, "Hey, I have a problem. Can you talk to me about this?" So that's, I think, I hope it's not unique, but it's in a way, I think it's really fantastic to work with this. And also in the design team. I mean, I worked there for 17 years, and some other guys as well. The youngest designer works here for like 6-7 years. So it's also really people like working at Bugaboo, and the atmosphere is great. Working conditions are great. We have great lunches, great fun together, all kinds of parties. The parties are amazing. Everybody dresses up really great, and it's a really great company, great atmosphere.
Yeah, I also know that your factories are also maintained in China. They also maintain the culture of the different offices, like you said, around the world.
Yeah, even in because I think we're one of the few stroller companies that have their own factory, so we can really control our quality. And you know, the people working in our factory are just Bugaboo employees. We don't outsource that. We find it really important. And if you visit the factory, it looks also similar as here in headquarters. So we use the same colors and same you know, layout, and yeah, it's really amazing to have this. You're also really close to the source where your products are made, so that's also really great. You know, you actually know these people who put the product together that I've been working on, so that makes me feel very special.
People ask me all the time, if I were to start again, what stroller would I get? I have 3 kids. I've had about 25 strollers. Some of them I made buying mistakes in the beginning, and over the years people like gifted me different strollers. I had a Bugaboo Bee in the middle for my 3rd child, the original Bee, which I loved. The seat turning around was very complicated, but I loved it.
Yeah, it was
yeah. And but I think that I probably, if knowing everything I would know, I would probably start with a Donkey. With my I know that I had my first 2 kids 23 months apart, and I would probably start with a mono and then probably move on to a duo. Maybe I'd get an ant for the trunk if, you know, this is all 18 years later. But so I mean, I just think the Donkey is just a really like cool product. Can you, and I when I came to visit Bugaboo like 11 years ago, like you showed me like the prototype for the Donkey. So can you talk a little about the Donkey, how that's changed, and what do people, you know, what do you want people to know about that product that they may not know or realize?
Yeah, I think a Donkey for me is a very special product because Back in the days, I also got my own kids. So working on prototypes and testing them with my own kids for me. I got 2 kids now. They're 9 and 11. But I think the donkey is kind of my third child. Was really great to work on, and it still is a very unique product. I don't see any product out there that's resembling the donkey. And like you say, usually people start out with a chameleon or a fox, and then they get their second child, and then they start thinking about donkey, which is of course nice because you can sell that first bamboo stroller. But in a way, it's also a pity because the donkey in its mono configuration is really great. We put the seat and the carry called asymmetric, and you have a really beautiful side luggage basket, which you could put a lot of groceries in there. So if you talk about shopping and having luggage space, then the donkey is really nice. And also the underseat basket is great. And the driving behavior of this stroller is just excellent. It's one of the best I think we have, because the donkey has to carry 2 kids, right? So it's 2 times 22 kilos. It's I don't know what pound that is, but
50 pounds per seat.
50 pounds, yeah. So you have 100 pounds, and then like 50 pounds in the underseat basket. So it's also a very strong stroller, but still lightweight to maneuver, and that's because of the whole geometry. And it's not even wider than our Fox. It's only 60 centimeters, so it's like 24 inch, I think. Mm-hmm. So amazing how we were able just to engineer this, to make everything so thin that there's room for the baby, and there's a lot of room for the luggage. And you know, expanding it to Dio is so simple. Just 3 clicks and you widen it, and also if you have 2 kids, right? You don't always go out with 2 kids. Sometimes you go out with 1 kid or a kid on the wheel board. So there's so many configurations, and there's this endless versatility which you can use with the donkey. So in that sense, yeah, a unique stroller. It's the only stroller that you need, right?
Exactly. But in America, I think in particular, the front to back, that inline look is definitely, I think, most prevalent. I think people think that is going to be less cumbersome. I don't actually understand exactly why. It seems like it also be more limited, but I just wish that people would consider the donkey sort of more frequently.
Yeah, I can understand, because of course you have the idea you don't have to widen the whole stroller so it stays narrow, but usually these seats are a bit limited, in the way you can recline, in the way you can look at both your kids. And I think the donkey was developed really with this equality in mind. You have the same contact with your child. They're at the same level. They can also interact really nicely with each other. Of course, some of these stadium seats also can do so. That's just a choice. For me, the donkey remains the best driving behavior in the duo category, because if you have this tandem or stadium seat, it's a long stroller, so it drives to go around the corner. It just takes a lot of effort, and the donkey doesn't have that. So,
you guys have been innovating a lot the past couple of years. Sometimes it's like slow to have new products come out, but it just seems like just recently you upgraded the donkey, you upgraded the Fox, you just came out with the Ant. Like there's just so much going on. It's extremely dynamic and exciting. And I know that you guys are constantly working on stuff, and you guys are also very, very secretive about things that are coming in the future. So I totally respect that. But just in general, without giving away any confidential information, though you could give away confidential information if you wanted to,
sure.
without giving away confidential information, can you talk a little bit about where you see the company going, and how you guys are thinking about maybe the advancement in design or in product lines? Where do you think Bugaboo is going to go the next couple of years?
Yeah. So like you mentioned, we have the Fox2 and the Donkey3. So those are things that we call continuous improvement. We learn a lot from our users. They give us great feedback. Obviously, we try to make perfect strollers, but we also learn, also looking at competitors, but having this input of our users. So we will keep continuing to upgrade these strollers and make them even better. And next to that, we will also come out with new strollers. Like the Ant is a good example, where we try to enter the ultra compact category. You can expect more strollers to come out in the next couple of years. Working on a very exciting stroller right now that will probably blow your mind, but I can't tell you too much about it. And next to that, we also asked people, what do you expect more of Bugaboo? Because maybe we can serve you in different areas. Like you are a parent, you have kids, you have a Bugaboo product, you like the product, you like the quality. So what other products can you think of in this parental category? And there are some obvious categories that we could think of, but I'm not going to display that here. But we are also working on products in those areas. So we will widen our product portfolio to other categories for parents and children. So very exciting to work on that as a design team.
It sounds super exciting. We're excited about seeing what you come up with. We're like always want to learn and sort of help our parents, the expectant parents who are shopping with us, so to learn about Bugaboo products and show them sort of why they're awesome. I'm so grateful that you spent this time with me today. So just so you know, you can get Bugaboo products at mbeans.com and Magic Bean stores. Like, book a virtual consultation. We'll take you through. We'll show you about those 3 clicks, how you open and close the donkey, or how you turn around the ant, or anything that you want to learn about. And you could also go to Bugaboo's website and learn about all of their great products there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you stay safe. Keep doing what you're doing, designing, making amazing things, and I'm just so grateful that you spent the time with me today.
We will, Ali, and thanks a lot for this conversation. It was nice to talk about these products, and I hope everybody stays safe and produces a lot of children next coming months, right?
Yes, produce children, exactly, and buy a Bugaboo stroller. Thank you.
Yeah.